Hello, everyone. That was supposed to be full screen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Hack the Movies. Today, we're talking about a new film that you all keep requesting a lot. And today, I am joined by.
It's Cayley from Once Over with Cayley. I didn't know that I was going to introduce myself. It's an aging woman here to talk about an aging woman in a movie. So exciting.
Wow, that's great. I picked you for different reasons, but thank you for bringing
Uh-huh,
that
uh-huh,
up.
uh-huh. I believe you. I believe you.
Anyway, it's great to see you again, Cayley. Let's
Mm-hmm,
get this
mm-hmm.
going here. Substance, but okay, actually, before we get it going, the live wrap up will be in the beginning of December. I need a little bit more time to see some of the movies, and also Thanksgiving kind of screwed up the schedule. I'm sure all of you want me to get me and my friends to talk about new movies on Thanksgiving, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I know you would do it, Cayley. You would
So
jump.
lazy you are, Tony.
I'm
Oh my
so
goodness.
lazy. How dare I? And it'll be my second Thanksgiving. I'm doing first Thanksgiving tomorrow. I do two Thanksgivings now, apparently.
Oh, I
Uh,
have my first Thanksgiving on Sunday, so I also do too. How exciting.
oh, fun.
Double the turkey, double the fun.
Right now, I'm getting yelled at by a different co-host. Shut up, Johanna. We're recording in like a week or two. Anyway, yes, the substance. Oh, wait, no, not the substance. Patreon. I have to do some Patreon stuff real quick. Cayley, remember these two commentary tracks we did?
I sure do. Both of them were so great.
They were great. I love them. And I really wish everyone could hear them. And you could hear them if you sign up for the $5 tier. But what if you don't want to make that commitment, Cayley? Maybe you don't want to spend $5 a month. Guess what I did? I made them.
Did you?
Yes, I made them all available for individual purchase. You can now buy commentary tracks or albums without becoming a monthly pledge. It's cheaper to become a monthly pledge, but who am I to tell you what to do? The option is now there. I'm very excited about it. We got some cool stuff on Patreon. Speaking of, the early episode for Page Master is now up. I screwed up the audio in the episode, but I explained it in the beginning. Please don't leave a comment about it. I say that
Everybody leave comments. Everybody leave comments.
it's already started. It's already started.
Good.
I literally say in the video, I've addressed it. Don't mention it. And right away, it's like, hey, Tony, the audio's screwed up. I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to kill all of you. Hey, remember when we reviewed those two Freddy Krueger movies?
I sure do.
Everyone's favorite, Freddy's Dead and the remake. Everyone always puts that as their two favorite.
They're
Recently,
top two.
their top two. I recently compiled all the Freddy reviews into one. If you want to listen to me and my asshole friends talk about Elm Street for 10 hours, lucky you. You can do it right now. So that is available. Also, the second channel, the Clips and Streams channel, we're almost at 3,000 subs. Please go over there and subscribe. Please, right now.
Yay.
Cayley, I have you on here because this movie is very similar to a film called Society, which you reviewed.
I sure did. I absolutely love that. So I reviewed that with the Vern from Cinema Recall.
Yeah.
And we love body horror. And we were talking all about shunting and wonderful, wonderful, gory goodness.
Yes, and I like body horror as well. And I guess that's why people have been suggesting this to me. The Substance by Coralie Farriat? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, and you
Uh,
make fun of me for pronunciations. Jeez.
have you seen any of their other work? I think they made a movie called Revenge or something.
Yes.
How was
So I
that?
loved Revenge is incredible.
Okay.
There is, I won't spoil anything, but there are a couple of really cool scenes in it. It came out in like 2017. I want to say it was a Shudder original. So that's why I originally actually found it and started watching it. And I just absolutely loved it. I actually did not even realize that The Substance was the same director until after I watched it because I like to go in as blind as possible. So I managed to make it into The Substance without knowing the director and without knowing that it was a body horror movie.
Oh, you didn't know about either of those things.
Yes. So
I
that was a pretty cool experience.
I didn't know anything about it initially, but I feel like I saw the whole movie out of order through a series of gifts and Halloween costumes. This was bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And again, I got a bunch of requests for it, so I saw it hit streaming, and I was like, screw it, why not? Yeah, I ended up really, really enjoying this film.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about it. Let's get into it, Cayley.
Me too. Let's go.
First off, this movie's not very subtle. It will spell things out for you. And before you even know what the substance is, it shows you a demonstration where they pour a thing of reagent from Reanimator into an egg, and it makes a second egg. I think technically, yeah.
I just mentioned I went into this not knowing that it was body horror.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that we see on screen. And as soon as this happened, I was like, oh my God, it's a body horror movie. I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. Like, I immediately realized what was happening. And I love that they were able to do that with something so simplistic. It's a really beautiful shot. It's a really well done effect. And it kind of got me excited for what was to come.
Same. So when I was looking at all the posts and stuff, like, I tried to avoid what the movie was really about.
Yeah.
I assumed it was like you take a potion and you get younger. I was wrong. So this egg thing confused me in the beginning. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, so we get some visual storytelling here. We see a star being made for Elizabeth Sparkle. Do you get stars on the Walk of Fame when you're still really young? I feel like you get them later in life, right?
I feel like some younger people have gotten them, especially recently. I there was a weird one I feel like that just somebody got,
Also,
and I was like, what?
I think you pay for them. There's some like weird thing where you technically have to like pay for them.
Well, in addition to this movie very, very heavily talking about aging, it also very heavily talks about Hollywood and the industry of Hollywood. So I mean, it makes sense. Perhaps there is some commentary about she paid for this star, and as we see it, it's going in beautifully, and she is doing all this great stuff, and it degrades pretty darn quickly.
Yes, it cracks, it breaks. People are spilling food on it.
Nobody cares about her anymore.
I like how people are like, "Can you believe that happened?" Like the movie wants you to be like, "Oh no," but I'm like, "No, I've been on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah,
They're lucky
it's
there's not.
disgusting.
There's not like human shit and vomit on it."
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's older now. She's doing workout videos on some network. This is
A la Jane Fonda.
Yes, much like Jane Fonda. This is like one of those this reminds me of It Follows and a couple other films where you can't really land on the time period. Because there's cell phones, there's modern stuff, but then it feels very 80s. It kind of goes all over the place, which I like. It makes it feel timeless in the end if you throw in a bunch of different time periods. So yeah, she's working out, and it's Demi Moore. Not Demi Moore, it's Demi Moore. And she's working out. She's doing the whole, hey, take care of yourself. And then we see
You got it.
Yeah. We see she's been doing this for a while. Also, is your outfit inspired by this blue outfit here?
It is. I was heavily inspired by this whole movie. I have blue on my eyelashes.
Hold on. There you go.
I have little bits of blue because Sue has blue eyelashes at one point in the movie, and then I'm wearing this blue dress, very fancy. I noticed that you didn't try it all, but
okay, look, it's laundry day. I'm wearing green. And it's Ninja Turtles, so green ooze, that kind of works. Anyway, she goes to use the men's bathroom because the women's bathroom is broken. And instead of holding it in like a normal person, she uses the men's bathroom. And we get to see Dennis.
You forgot to mention also, it is her birthday. We start out on her birthday. And that is really important because, again, this entire movie is about her growing older and her coming to terms with the fact that she is growing older. And so the fact that she's walking down this hallway of all these beautiful pictures of herself at her prime, doing her thing, and everybody's like, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And that's when she ends up in the men's room.
Yeah, so then Dennis Quaid, who everyone is still raving about for his performance in Reagan. They all loved him in Reagan. You said it's the film of the year, right?
I sure did. I haven't stopped saying it, actually.
You say it all the time. It's actually kind of annoying. Yeah. He comes in, he's on the phone with someone. He's saying that they have to get rid of Elizabeth because she's old. She's a dinosaur. She was in King Kong when she got her Oscar. Like, this movie is very over the top, and it's like dialed to 11.
Yes.
So when I see people like on Twitter be like, wow, that was real relatable to women, I'm like, I guarantee you the most asshole man in the world will never be this level of asshole.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about the whole feminism aspects of this film.
Yeah.
But we'll get into those as we move on. But I mean, I think that the entire point of this scene, and Dennis Quaid does do a great job as the character Harvey. The entire point of this scene is, all right, Elizabeth Sparkle, you've served your purpose. Now get out of here. You know, we are done with you. We're recycling you. We are done with you because you have officially aged out of your position as being a woman. Now you are just trash.
Yeah, and I get that that was a thing for like, it's funny because I know that is like a thing for like Hollywood and like older Hollywood, but I wonder like if that's gonna change or if it's already changing with social media. Because the whole thing is like, yes, actresses weren't as pretty anymore, so assholes would stop putting them in movies instead of just casting them in different roles, and then they would disappear. But with social media, you could just be always around. Your audience will always see you. I feel like this, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I think that the casting of Demi Moore was really interesting. I don't think that she was actually originally the first choice.
He wasn't the first choice. It was Ray Liotta, but he died.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought that she wasn't either. I could remember that incorrectly. But the idea of having Demi Moore, who is a actress who really never stopped being relevant, having her playing this particular character is really, really interesting. I thought that that was a very smart choice. She's somebody who has continued to be beautiful, who everybody has continued to think is beautiful, and who never has really gone through the controversies that so many older actresses have just from being around for so long.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she did decide to be in Charlie's Angels too. I wouldn't have done that. But, you know, other than that.
Had she redeemed herself at this point, or are you still angry about that?
I think she redeemed herself. Oh, is she the one that, like, sandbagged Ashton Kutcher, right? Didn't she get him when he was young?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. You're totally right.
She sucked his youth out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an issue coming up with Demi Moore's age. But yeah, so she hears all this. And also, again, I feel like the writer might have been projecting a little bit. Again, guys can be assholes and talk about girls getting older, but they won't just go like, "Ha, did you know that women can't have trouble giving birth after 25? Isn't that hilarious?" I'm like, I've never experienced a man laughing about that fact.
Yeah, it's a little ham-fisted.
It's really ham-fisted.
People criticize all the time when male writers don't do a great job of writing female characters.
Yeah.
I think that this is a good example of this male character is a caricature of a man. Which is like, it's fine because he's funny and he's disgusting and he doesn't wash his hands after going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then he scarfs down a whole bunch of shrimp like a disgusting,
God, that was
disgusting.
so disgusting.
But, you know, I mean, it kind of works for this movie because, again, this movie is such a satire. It is such a critique of Hollywood. So we have to be over the top.
Which I agree. I was fine with it, but when I saw people being like, "This is so relatable," I'm like, "Who the fuck are you running
not
into?"
relatable.
I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
No.
The casual sexism. I'm like, this is the Dick Masterson couldn't reach this level of misogyny. This is like a straight up cartoon.
Yes.
Yeah. So he walks out and she's all sad, and this is the Elizabeth chapter of the movie. It lets you know in big, loud letters there. Real quick, what did you think of the music in this? The womp 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 womp, constant womp womp womp.
I liked it a lot. So I actually went and saw this in theaters. I have not made it to theaters a lot recently in my life because I'm a busy person, Tony.
Yeah.
But I went and saw this in theaters and it was very powerful there. So for me, it really worked extremely well. I will say that when I gave it a rewatch just at home, far less effective.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think
that could just be because I was watching it, on my computer as opposed to a big giant screen with a great sound system. But I definitely struggled with that.
Yeah, the music worked for me. I watch it on my TV in my room.
Yeah.
But I think the fan in my bathroom is broken, Cayley. So when I turn on the light or turn off the light, it just goes wah, wah, wah. So I felt like I was like, wow, I feel like I'm in the movie.
You're living this in real life. I can't wait to see how you turn out in the end, Tony.
I literally paused the movie, went to go to the bathroom, but my fan just went wah. I'm like, wow.
I criticized you for not getting dressed up like me, but what I'm hearing is that by the end of this review right now, you are going to have transformed into something entirely different. And I can't wait to see what it is. Yes, I'm so excited.
I should have one of my posters on standby so I could just wear a picture of my face.
I think that's a great idea.
That should have been if I saw this ahead of time, that would have been my Halloween costume. Just me wearing a poster of my face and just be all mangled.
Yes. I'm
So, okay, this is the scene I had an issue with. Okay, well, not because he's eating shrimp. He's supposed to look disgusting. And I like the whole idea where, like, these men are criticizing women for their aging. Meanwhile, he kind of looks like shit, and his teeth are all gross and whatnot. But he says that, like, when 50 is there, it stops. And she's like, what stop? And I was confused. I didn't realize he was talking about her age. And that's because I know that in real life, Demi Moore is in her 60s. She's not 50. Yeah. So I was like, genuinely, I was just like, 50 what? What was the point of the 50? Because I know that she's not 50. I'm like, oh, the character is 50. So that kind of took me out of it. Which, I mean, she looks great for 61, I guess, if she's being cast
great for
50.
50 if she was 50. She looks great. She looks great.
But yeah, so I guess he's having a birthday dinner with her, and then he like ends the conversation and goes talk to one of his friends, and then we get the classic character isn't paying attention and car hits them from the side.
Yes,
I feel
it was very harrowing. It shocked me. I was not expecting. So again, I went into this completely blind. I see the egg split, and I'm like, okay, so we're in a body horror movie. And then I get a car crash, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was not expecting that, good sir. Like, it completely caught me off guard, in a good way.
Yeah. I have to look up. I think someone did a montage of just scenes from movies that are exactly like this with the car going. It's been done so many times.
So many times. I do want to comment before we move on from that one, actually, if you can hop back. I love her yellow jacket.
It's good.
This yellow jacket becomes like a talisman throughout the entire film, where we get to see both her and her other half wearing it. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think I think there's a couple of visual choices that really function incredibly well in the film. The jacket is one, and then all of the packaging and lettering. So earlier you showed off the screen that said Elizabeth in the big bold letters. Yeah. And we get to see quite a bit more of that. And I think that all of those things are so effective.
Yeah, yeah. I love the way it was edited.
Very bold. Very bold.
The way it was shot is great. This was a fun one to watch. So she goes to the doctor. She's actually fine. She ends up being fine. Like, I think there's some bruises or whatever. The doctor's like, my wife's a big fan of yours. And then she starts crying. And he's like, all right, well, a woman's crying. I got to get out of here. Which is very relatable. I'm like, oh, that girl's crying. I better leave. But while she's crying and having this little breakdown, this nurse feels up her spine. And he's like, you'll be a great candidate. And it's like, what? Yeah. And he gives her some information. And we notice he has like a, like a legion,
birthmark
on his hand. Yeah. She also has like weird birthmarks on her belly at some point. I didn't know what the point of that.
So I assumed that the reason that they were showing it, so the point of his birthmark is so that we can identify him as a character.
Yeah. But and they zoom up on hers. Yeah.
They zoom up on hers at one point. It's right on her belly. And I assume that there is a cut scene where we were supposed to see that on her other half.
Okay.
And that was my only explanation of it, because it is a beautiful shot. It is a very strong visual. It probably ended up on the cutting room floor because it was very obvious that they were one in each other.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned things being cut. This movie is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
It did
It
not
didn't
need
feel like it.
really.
No, it doesn't feel like it at all to me.
Uh, Maybe because I was watching it late at night. Maybe if I watched it in the middle of the day, I'd feel different.
Again, I went into the theater. So let me tell you a little bit about my theater experience
Okay.
before we go on. So I went into this not knowing anything. I came out. I was laughing hysterically in the theater. I just had a grand old time.
Were you by yourself smoking like
I
Robert De
was.
Niro and Cape Fear?
Yes, yeah. I was sitting back like this. It was really great. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And then as I was leaving the theater, there was this group of older people, I would say probably in like their mid 60s or so. And they were also coming out of the movies, and they ran into friends who were coming out of a different movie. And they all asked each other, what did you see? And the people who had come out of The Substance, the guy is like, what did you see? And he gets the answer, and he's like, oh man, I wish I saw that. The Substance was the absolute worst movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, that's why I love it so much. I love it so much.
It's not bad. It's not. I saw people, some guy on my Instagram was like, it's pretentious. I'm like, this movie is pretentious? I don't think so.
No.
It's got a message. It's got a message, but it says it in the most like ridiculous, gross comedic way it can. I don't really think of pretentious when I think of this.
No, I agree with you entirely about that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's one of those people that are like, horror movies should just be monsters eating people and people stabbing each other. It's like, no, they could be stuff like this too.
Yeah.
It don't have to be I don't think pretentious. Again, it's real on the nose and ham-fisted. It's Long Legs felt pretentious compared to this.
Yeah.
Did you see Long Legs?
I have not seen Long Legs yet. I have learned too much about it, so don't tell me anymore because, again, I like to go in blind, and I'm not going in blind.
Just a little side rant. That director, what's his face? Anthony Perkins' son. Have you seen any of his other movies?
What's his other movies? I can't think
Well,
of it.
people say The Black Coat's Daughter is good, but I haven't seen that yet.
I have not seen that.
He did a movie called I'm the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, that movie sucked.
I don't remember enjoying it. I don't remember hating it, but I don't remember.
I remember being like on board. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like a weird, like surreal kind of thing. And then the movie was done. I was like, what the fuck was that? Long Legs explains the movie at least, but then it gives me more questions. But I already reviewed that months back. So yeah, he gives her some information. She goes home and she learns about The Substance, which it's a short video file. I don't know why it's on such a big USB. That part confused me.
The branding, the packaging, we have to make everything look beautiful. Okay, again, remember, this movie is all about caring. It's about the urge to be better. And so all of these things need to be packaged perfectly. Otherwise, the company that creates the substance doesn't make any sense. And that is a beautiful, beautiful, unnecessary USB stick.
It really is. I have a lot of questions about this company. Is this a universe where RFK got rid of the FDA? Because they're doing a lot of shady stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like how did this get past testing? This is not a good idea.
Well, I do suspect that is why she has to go through so much in order to actually get the substance once she decides to get it. So she's like going through back alleys. She's sneaking under doorways.
Yeah.
I don't think that the FDA is even aware of this stuff. But also the FDA. So yes,
sure.
I'm in support of. I'm in support of the substance, I suppose you could say.
We got it. You love RFK Jr. and he influenced your voting decision, but stop bringing up politics, please. But while she's out there, she bumps into an old classmate of hers. I think the movie wants me to not like him, but he's weird, but he seems nice.
Why do you think the movie wants you to not like him? I
don't know.
I think the movie wants you to like him.
I guess because the movie wants me to hate all the other men in it. So
no, he represents innocence. He's the only man that we get to see that isn't a part of Hollywood.
Yes, and he knew her before fame.
He's pure. So her name is Elizabeth Sparkle. He refers to her as Lizzie. He represents what she used to be. And again, as we're thinking about when she's playing this thumb drive about the substance, it's all talking all about being a better version of yourself. And so many, especially women, but so many people think of the better version of themselves as when they were younger. At least when it comes to aesthetic reasons. And this guy thinks she's beautiful now.
Well,
Fred.
that's why I decided to be a fat ass all of my 20s and then get into shape in my 30s. So when I'm
Good
older,
job.
I'll be like, yes, the best version of myself was when I was in my 30s reviewing movies before
Congratulations.
everything went horribly wrong. It hasn't gotten there yet. I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, he is still socially awkward. He like writes his number on a piece of paper, then drops it in a puddle, and then gives it to her. And it's like, buddy. But also, we know cell
He's
phones.
nervous.
It's like we know cell phones exist in this universe.
Yeah.
Just to do the text. Be like, oh, here's my number. You can like bump your phone together. There's ways you can give the number without writing on a piece of paper and dropping it on a puddle. But yeah, she takes, to her credit, she keeps it. She throws it in an old box, but she keeps it. She could have just thrown it away. That's what I would have done. So she's back in her apartment. We get the little roses there for thank you for all these years with us. You were amazing.
Yeah.
And she puts the video on, and it's the video could be a little bit more descriptive. It
A little ham-fisted.
yeah, but it's basically like the substance. It'll make a better version of you. It will split you into two, but you have to share. You are one. They go into more details soon. But yeah, she thinks it's bullshit. She goes out, gets drunk, throws up, and she's like, fuck it. I'm gross. No one hit on me at the bar. Because that is a woman's fear, just going out in public.
Oh, yeah. I always
Guys.
want to be hit on in the bar, and then I don't.
I
And
love
then
that.
I'm
I love
old.
the movie. See, this is where, as a man, it's like, wow, can you believe it? She went out and no one talked to her. I'm like, yeah, that happens to me all the fucking time. That was my favorite. Someone was bringing up like the beginning of pandemic, like girls having meltdowns, and they're like, "Congratulations, women! You now know what it's like to be a regular guy." It's like, yeah, I'm home alone and no one's paying attention to me. And I'm famous, Cayley, and even I can go out and not be recognized if it happens to me.
It's shocking. It's
Imagine if it
completely
happens to
shocking.
one of these losers in the chat who aren't donating. It must be worse for them.
You know, sometimes people come up to me and ask me about you, and yet they
Yeah.
never ask me about me.
That
That's
you know
how
what, that-
famous you are.
You know what? That makes me feel so much better. Next time I'm alone at a bar, I'm like, well, at least somewhere out there, somebody's
Somebody's asking.
about me and asking her no follow-up questions about herself.
Yep.
Also, I learned from Stutter and John to yell at the people in the chat not donating. That'll get people
Oh.
to pay, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Do it right
okay,
now.
okay. I should do that more often.
Yeah.
The pores, I think we're supposed to refer to them as.
I mean, you can.
We didn't do a goal. Someone recommend a good goal that we could do. Yeah, so she's looking at this little what you call it, snow globe with the girl in it. This will come back later. It's sparkling like her name.
Yes.
And then this doesn't really make her feel any better. They literally put out again, ham-fisted, not subtle, not just like new entertainer. It's like, who will be the next Elizabeth Sparkle? We're getting rid of Elizabeth Sparkle. 18 to 30 only. And I think this is what pushes her over the edge. So she calls. She's going to go to the place. She gets a number. Like you said, she goes down a weird back alley, finds a bunch of lockers. We see that a lot of people are doing this. This is apparently the new hip thing people are doing. And then she gets her kit, and we learn all about the kit. So you get the activator. Only use it once.
Yep.
Why would you give them that much if they're only supposed to use it once? I guess if they mess up? I don't know.
Well, that would still be using it more than once.
Well, I mean, like...
This is a good question that you're asking right now.
Well, I mean, like, if they fill up the needle, but then, like, they drop the needle or something.
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe they're sharing. No, they can't share it with
Or
other
maybe
people.
it's just because the packaging looks so beautiful like that. Same thing with the flash drive. Did it need to be
Yes.
that big? No,
No.
but it looked pretty.
So, activator, use only once. The stabilizer is for your other self. Stabilize every day. And we find out that that's pulling spinal fluid out of the
Blech.
Matrix, which is
Blech.
the original version. And then you switch every 7 days. You need to switch.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. Again, this should probably be done in a controlled environment to make sure it doesn't go horribly wrong. But whoever the substance people are total assholes. Yes, without exception. And then you have the food matrix for when the main person is asleep, and then the food for the other self when they're asleep. And then it sends you. It's like a subscription thing. It just sends you a new box. What if the company went out of business?
I mean, I don't think that they're doing it for money. I mean, the motives of the substance people is an entirely different question.
Yeah, because he says
they're not accepting money. She's not paying for this service.
Yeah, and he says she's a good candidate. I guess they're just testing it out on people.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I, again, though, and I know that I already mentioned this, but the packaging of this stuff is so dang perfect for me. It is so sleek and perfect and everything that I want to be. And I want to be I want to be younger and more beautiful.
Oh, I thought you wanted to look like a bunch of mozzarella like cheese snacks.
I do actually.
That's what it looked like.
Younger and more beautiful.
And remember, you are one.
Yes.
You are the same person, although it doesn't seem like that throughout the film. And we're just going to kind of put science out the window because none of this makes sense. But
none of it makes sense. But I also have a very big question about this. So we now know that, effectively, we're going to have two separate people here. You, your matrix, and your other self. Do they share memories?
No, because they always look a little surprised when they wake up.
I agree. But then there are other times. So there are moments where I think that they can't possibly share memories, but then there are moments where I think that they must. But if you are one, wouldn't you share memories?
Yeah. Maybe they mean strictly biologically, not just memory-wise. She has to have her memories because she knows where to go. She knows what her job is.
Well, she doesn't know what her job is. She discovers that ad from the newspaper that we saw earlier. That's how she ends up getting a job.
Oh.
And she sees everything about Elizabeth Sparkle because she is in Elizabeth Sparkle's apartment. Yeah. And, there is an interesting belly button related scene that we will talk about in a little bit. God. But, I mean, clearly she didn't share that memory. Yeah. So there are certainly things that the two of them are unaware of when they are the one who is around. Which is it's interesting. I'm curious about that, and I would like to see that kind of more hashed out. I know you criticized it being 2.5 hours, but I could have gone for maybe another 10 minutes if I had gotten a little bit more information about that.
But I think maybe the idea could be like once they're in the other body, they just like assume they're. I don't know. Yeah. But they are symbiotic. Like they can't live without each other, so they technically are one in that sense. Yes. But yeah, so she shoves a bunch of substance in her, and she starts freaking out. Now, the practical effects look great in this, but I don't want to undermine the digital effects either. The marriage of the two effects are great. Like, the pupils splitting and going nuts is really cool. And the back splits open. Again, none of this actually makes sense. You'd probably just die a horrible, painful death if something grew in you that fast.
Not only do we get that eyeball slit, like where the pupil splits in half, then we get to see the double eyeball in there. So we now know that there is something else inside of her. And I love when right before the back fully splits open, we get this like sort of breathing back moment, which is almost exactly like Society. So I really loved getting to see that because we do get quite a few hints. There's some references to some Cronenberg stuff. Actually, I would say that belly button scene that I just referenced is kind of a Cronenberg Videodrome thing. Yeah. But, it's cool to get to see we're paying homage to the body horror greats.
Mm-hmm. And then, there we go. We see the POV of whoever just came out of that back, which I feel like should be bleeding way more. Yep. And then we see this new character played by Margaret Qualley. How do you pronounce her last name? Qualley?
I would say Qualley, but I don't actually know if that's correct.
And what's her Margaret? I'm going to say Margaret Qualley. Her mom is famous. Her mom is Andie MacDowell.
Oh, really?
She does look kind of like Andie MacDowell.
Yeah, I see it now.
So this actress, I still have not seen the Tarantino movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I still haven't seen it. Is that bad of me?
Well, it's not great. I saw it within the last year, so I can't actually
Oh, okay.
criticize. Yeah.
It's just look. I mean, after his last editor died, those movies were.
Yeah.
Talk about length.
Yeah,
I
it was
really
a slog. I watched it because I was reviewing it with Husey. So
a few of his movies have turned like everything after that editor died. Like even Django, which I liked, and Hateful Eight, which I liked. I'm like, oh my god, can we trim this down? So I've only seen her in that awful Netflix Death Note remake.
I
And
didn't see that.
she's in a sci-fi film called The EO with Anthony Mackie, which was like
Yeah.
okay. So I actually haven't seen her in a lot of things. This is now like probably the biggest thing she's done that I've seen.
Yeah.
Apparently Drive Away Dolls came out and it wasn't very good. But anyway, get ready for disappointment. Did you think she had do you think she
Is
had
it
some nice
about-
tits?
Yeah, I already know where you're going with this, but go
They're
ahead.
fake!
Go ahead.
They're fake. By the way, all the talk of special effects, those look like real tits to me. I was like,
So
holy
real.
shit.
They're okay. I didn't know that they were fake my first watch through. My second watch through, I was specifically looking for the prosthetics on
Yeah.
her boobs. There is
Yeah.
a time when the two of them are laying down together on the floor, and her boob is like crunched up in a way that it would naturally be. And I was like, that's the best prosthetic in the entire universe. Why are women
really-
getting boob jobs? Just get those things.
And now I'm looking up pictures of her and I'm like, yeah, she really doesn't have a lot going on up there. So that was pretty solid.
I think
way
it is
better
very-
than the monsters and everything. Those are the most impressive special effects.
I am so impressed with that choice also. So obviously we needed to make her the most feminine that she could possibly be, and
Yeah.
boobs represent femininity. But again, she is supposed to represent that perfection. She is supposed to represent the better half. And so she needs to be perfect in every single way. How interesting that we couldn't even find a perfect woman to play that role. We literally had to enhance our perfect woman because that doesn't exist. And I think that in and of itself is really great commentary.
Yeah, there's that. But then there's also like, they have to look perfect and everything, but they also have to kind of resemble Demi Moore. So maybe some, I mean, perfect woman.
All right.
If you get perfect woman, you throw some Sydney Sweeney in there, but she was probably busy doing 10 other films. Okay, again.
I don't think she would have done well in this role. I love Sydney Sweeney, and I don't think that she would
Yeah,
have done well
no,
in this role.
this worked out the way they needed it. Again, so your other self just knows how to sew, like surgical stuff, and
Yes.
you'll just heal?
So again, the other self can't be a baby. It has to have some memories of how to exist in the universe. So at what point do the memories stop?
I know.
And there's no directions within the packaging, despite the fact that I love the packaging and I wouldn't change a single dang thing about it. If I was the other self and I came into the universe and I'm covered in goop, by the way, she's covered in goop, and we get this like first person view of
She like
her
throws
experience
up
in the
like
universe.
green fluid. Yeah.
And it's a really cool effect, but like I would not understand what this packaging meant and what I was supposed to do. How do I know to inject in here and then inject into myself? None of that makes any sense at all. How does she just know what to do magically? There's
I
no
guess-
instructions.
Yeah, it is weird. I guess they just do get some memories. They have some
Yeah.
instinct in them. They have a lot of fun with that whole mirror thing, with her like looking in her eye. They do a lot of cool stuff with mirrors in this, and it's to set up for a payoff way later in the film.
And mirrors are so representative also of vanity. And so anytime that they're looking at themselves in that mirror, it's the female gaze upon the female, and that is interesting in and of itself, which I love.
And thank God, Demi Moore, all her clothes are the same size, and she could just fit into all of them. That really lucked out. My perfect self would have to go shopping. I will say, she has a pretty great ass. They cast her for that, I think.
I figured that was a body double, actually. So they go from
Really?
this
No, I
shot.
think we see enough of it
They go
like
from this shot to a close up of her face. I paid attention to it this watch.
I'm saying I'm typing in her name, butt double.
I
Did she
I'm
have
not sure. We do see her butt in other shots. I just think that this particular shot of her doing the split is a body double. I think that her ass in the other places where we see her ass is actually her ass.
wait. I'm on Reddit. Someone said, did Margaret had a fake as in the substance? They spelled ass wrong.
Cool.
I just see the movie and I realized that she used a fake breast and I was thinking if she used a fake ass too, spelled it right that time, because I
Cool.
think she has a small ass and is very skinny. And then people are debating. Anyway, sorry, I just saw that broken English and I'm like, oh, I have to read that. But yeah, lots of close-ups on it too.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of close-ups. Okay, so here we get two guys who are at a casting call. They're not pleased with the actress they just saw and said that a boob should grow out of the middle of her face instead of her nose.
Yes. It would be better.
It is kind of a weird insult.
Yes.
Like, that's one of those, like, I've heard people be like, wow, what they said was sexist and misogynistic and gross. And then I listen to the joke. I'm like, that joke just doesn't make sense. And I'm like, that joke just doesn't make sense. I'm more insulted that the joke doesn't really make sense. It's just weird. But yeah, the new character comes in and there we go. We got some butts. We got a face. And it's, oh God, Sue. Sue's here, baby. She got the part. She's doing it. She meets with Dennis Quaid, who couldn't be creepier. Very, very creepy. I love his outfits. I do want all his outfits.
Oh yeah, it's great.
His shirt,
all of the costuming in this movie is just perfect.
His suit jackets remind me of the ones Ron Perlman wore in Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
that looked cool. So yeah, he's like, do you want the shop? She's like, yes, but every 7 days I need to go visit my old sick mother. And of course, this doesn't make any goddamn sense in the entertainment industry. But since this is like a weird comedy in a fantasy world, he's like, yeah, sure. Take care of any like fucking relative you want. I need you on this channel.
You're the one.
Yeah. And no one's looking up her social security number or anything like that. I don't think she has a bank account. Again, the movie doesn't want you to ask those questions. Just ignore all those questions. And there we go. I don't know. I think it's a real butt. What do you think?
I think it's a real butt. I just think that one shot is not her doing a split.
Oh, the split, specifically the split. Okay,
yes.
No,
yeah. No, I think that the butt is real in all of the other shots.
Okay. So yeah, everything's going great.
Do you think that they could afford both booby prosthetics and butt prosthetics? That's gotta. I mean, don't push it here, Tony.
Well, they could have got a butt double. I don't know.
There's a lot of I mean, okay. That's possible.
Okay. So she switches back to Elizabeth. By the way, like, why don't they ever like put them in a bed? Or like, she just leaves Elizabeth on the bathroom floor. Like, isn't she gonna wake up in like pain? Like that's a bad time. You could have put her in a bed.
I actually was just noticing and thinking a little bit more about this. I don't know that I have an answer, but I noticed that the room where you go to pick up the refills of the substance looks very similar. So the room with those white lockers. That looks actually very similar to the bathroom. And I do think that this bathroom set is stunningly gorgeous. And perhaps us being in this stark white room, in that stark white locker room, as well as in the stark white bathroom, it's got to mean something. I mean, those are intentional choices. I don't necessarily know what they mean. I don't have any thoughts on that. But I think it's purposeful.
Also, there's a lot of Kubrick stuff in this. Like, the bathroom does kind of look like The Shining. This hallway is similar, and how they put everything in like the center of the frame once in a while is a lot like
we
The
will
Shining.
get to see another Kubrick-related thing at the end of the movie.
And here we go. She's got her refill kit. You have to go to your deposit box. So they send you a letter to say go to your deposit box. We get more butts. And then, okay, so she couldn't hire, she can rent the equipment, but she couldn't hire a construction crew to build a trap door in her bathroom.
I also don't understand. I am not a construction lady. I
Yeah.
will be the first to admit that. But some of the things that she is doing as she is making this construction in order to create like a trap, you just said a
Mm,
trap door. So, like a door that she can like push in so that it pops out.
yeah.
She's doing things like screwing in those like screw things that are like the stabilizers. But like none of that seems to make sense for making this door to me.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. I guess in a previous life, Elizabeth worked in construction.
She must have.
Maybe she got an Oscar for playing a construction lady, and she was a method actor, and she got real into it and retained those memories.
Great job, baby
But
girl.
she's
Great
making a
job.
lot of noise, and
Oh
the
yeah.
neighbor's flipping out until he finds out that she's hot. Look, I will be nice to a girl if they're really attractive. If you're fucking jackhammering and slamming stuff, I don't care how fucking hot you are. I'm yelling at you. I'm going to be like, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Please stop. Instead, he's like, oh, a girl. It's like, okay, relax, buddy. So yeah, he's all horned up and he decides to be nice to her and asks
I
her
refer
out.
to I wrote his name is Oliver,
Yeah.
but all of my notes from this movie are horned up neighbor. So I'm glad that you also use that term. Yep.
He really is horned up. Every
Yeah.
guy in this movie is horned up like it's the first time they ever saw a woman before.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I have this is horned up neighbor, and then later I'll have horny motorcycle man
oh, yeah.
is another.
But yeah, so she makes the trapdoor room and then just throws Elizabeth in there, and she goes
Yep.
out to start her new show, Pump It Up.
Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
and it's way sexier than the previous show. It's young, it's hip, it's now. I have to look up these cameras. These cameras look cool.
I would say it's a sexy twerk out.
Oh, I don't have a soundboard, or I'd put like a clapping
Thank you.
sound or a
Thank you.
laughing effect, but
Yeah, yeah.
I found it funny.
Yes,
Uh,
I could tell from all your laughter.
yes, I don't really. Everyone who knows me knows I don't laugh much.
Hmm hmm
I just made myself laugh, so in a way, that's kind of you
yeah,
making me
yeah,
laugh.
yeah. Alrighty.
But yeah, she pulls more spinal fluid out. Elizabeth wakes up. She's looking around the house. Oh yeah, she pulls the spinal fluid out so she can sleep with motorcycle guy.
Yeah,
Because she has to
does.
switch, but she's like, let me just stabilize just a little while longer. But it has an effect. It's making Elizabeth's finger all old and gross. This is not
Oh
good.
no, it's not good. It's not good.
So she calls customer service, and they're like, yeah, whatever's done can't be undone. It's like, oh, shit, buddy. It's like, I really feel like the video presentation should really demonstrate what happens if you break the rules. So you're less
Well,
inclined to break them, I think.
Perhaps maybe that does answer some questions about the creators of the substance. Perhaps they are not doing this because it's supposed to be a service. Perhaps they're doing it as an experiment and they want to see people destroy their lives.
I want to do it to a famous person because then people will look into that and your whole operation's bust. Because she has evidence around the house of where to go
Yeah.
and stuff. People will find
Yeah.
that. Although I'm pretty sure what happens at the end, the substance people were like, go to the warehouse, go to the secret place right now, get rid of everything.
Yeah.
Get rid of everything. It's all coming undone. So yeah, he's like, remember, because she's like complaining about Sue, and they're like, no, there is no Sue. You are one.
Yeah. And you have to
Uh,
respect the balance.
Yes, respect the balance. And she's watching TV. And she realizes that Sue has the life that she wants, and she's really no longer living. She just wakes up, cleans, sits around, and Sue does all the stuff that she wants to do. So it kind of sucks. It's not even like. So yeah, I guess she isn't experiencing what Sue experiences.
Yeah, she
So
it's clear that she I mean when she wakes up she sees motorcycle man's motorcycle helmet. She
Yeah.
sees all this evidence that Sue has been drinking a whole bunch and probably partying, and she is having the very opposite life of that. When she is going out, she's lonely at a bar. We get to see the indent on her couch at one point in the
Yeah.
film. So that's how dull her life has become.
Yes. But she does go out to a diner and tries to eat, but she bumps into this old guy who turns out to be the nurse. And he is
Birthmark.
Yes, he's going through a similar situation. He's like, have they started taking from you yet? So I guess his young nurse copy is stealing a little bit of his life force too. In which case, this guy should be like, hey, lady, cancel it right now. Cancel it right now. They're going to backstab you.
Yeah, yeah. He does start describing, he says, you know, are you starting to feel more lonely? And it becomes harder to feel that this part of yourself, so the older part of the imperfect part of yourself is worth anything. That's a very powerful message.
Well, I mean, just don't sit home all day sitting on a couch. Like, go do something with your time.
I think that she starts to become a little bit agoraphobic. So we'll later kind of talk about
yeah, we see an example of that. She bumps into motorcycle guy who's like, get out of the street, old lady. Get out of here. And she's all broken up about it. But she goes to call Fred. She saved the number. Like, all right, I'm going to go call Fred.
So she finds that number. One thing that we haven't really kind of talked about or touched on yet is that Sue, during all of her partying crazy times, has started boxing up all of Elizabeth's stuff. So she's like, ew, get all this old lady crap out of my way. There's this giant poster of Elizabeth in the house. And she takes that and she drags it out so she doesn't have to look at it anymore. And now all we're left with is a billboard of Sue. And it was interesting when both of those things existed at the same time, because it was like the two of them looking at each other.
Yeah.
So we had this giant billboard and then this giant poster, and they were looking at each other. So the place that, like, when Elizabeth goes to find this phone number, she's trying to find it in an old purse, and she finds all of these boxes labeled old junk. So her younger, more beautiful half has literally labeled her as old junk, which is pretty insulting.
It's kind of mean that you think they'd like send messages to each other or something, like write notes for each other. Hey, this is what I did. How you doing? Please don't backstab. Please don't terminate me. And the other one could be like, hey, I did this for you. Please don't steal my spinal fluid.
Yeah, they're both not great people. And that does actually go, at least at this point in the film, they kind of start taking revenge on each other, speaking of movies named Revenge. But it also kind of leads into the idea that this movie is sort of based on The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And the concept of that is very much, you know, you become more and more grotesque the worse that you are as a person. And this is, I think it's debatable that that's a perfect analogy, but it certainly seems to play into place here.
Wouldn't be a problem for me because I'm perfect.
Of course, yes.
I would just keep play again. I'm more perfect Glenn Powell. So she calls Fred. She plans to go on a date. He's very excited. He's going into shock several times.
Do you think that the only reason that she accepted the date is because he called her beautiful? Do you think she actually likes him, or do you think that she's just getting attention from him and so she's agreeing to go on the date because she's feeling sad?
Are you saying that a beautiful woman who used to get around is now settling for a guy? Is that something that happens, Cayley? Do beautiful women as they get older just settle for whoever is around?
Is this new information for you?
I had no idea that this is a thing that happened. Wow, that's shocking.
Well, I mean, I think that in the case of Elizabeth Sparkle, she's going perhaps down a path that is maybe a little bit peculiar, and so she might be leaning into that a teensy bit more, no?
Maybe. Regardless, though, that's a guy who wants to spend time with her, who wasn't, like, mean to her.
Yeah.
Who thinks she's pretty now and thought she was pretty before she was famous and just always thought she was pretty. But yeah, she decides to go on the date, and he's like, awesome. And then she gets ready, but like every time she goes to leave, she sees Sue's billboard, and she gets self-conscious because she can't like live up to that, even though Fred has no idea who the fuck Sue is and probably doesn't care. So she keeps going in and like adding more stuff and hiding stuff and freaking out to the point she just has a total breakdown and just like messes up her makeup and everything. And she stands poor Fred up.
Yeah. I felt bad for Fred.
Yeah. Well, a girl who said she was going to go on a date and then didn't. I can't relate to Fred. That didn't happen to me most of the year. Anyway, she decides to eat some chicken. She decides to eat some chicken. And just kind of pigs out. And then this leads to the next day.
It's a great still that you've pulled there.
It is a great still. Sue is doing her workout and then her butt bubbles up a little bit. This was a little okay. I don't understand that because there was like a dreamlike sequence earlier.
Yes.
Where Sue is having sex and then like organs shoot out of her, but that wasn't real. So for a minute I thought that this was like subconscious. But then the people are like, there was a weird issue on the screen, and they all start watching it. We never see them see this scene on the screen.
Yeah,
but then
we never find out the resolution to what they saw or what they thought.
But then she pulls out a full chicken leg out of her belly button.
Yeah.
How did that get in there? Did Elizabeth shove it in there? I don't.
Yeah, so there are two possible ways that it got in there. One, okay. Elizabeth shoved it in there as revenge. Okay. And that's, that was her revenge on Sue being chaotic.
I feel like you would feel that. Although I don't know how human the other selves are, and I have some questions later on for a different scene toward the end. But okay, what's your other theory?
And then the other theory is, so when we initially see Elizabeth grabbing the chicken, it seems like she's going to eat it. Mm. It is true that they have both the Matrix food and the other half food. Do we know what happens when they eat real food? So if they eat real food, are they...
Well, no, because the Matrix and other cell food is just for when they're sleeping. They eat real food.
I don't know that do they?
Or is it when they do the switch will replicate whatever is in her stomach or something?
Maybe.
Does it accidentally re-energize the dead chicken? I don't know. It's a very confusing scene.
It's not a dehydrator, it's a rehydrator.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't care that it's a confusing scene because it's hilarious. The bubble butt moment is so funny. She is twerking her ass off, quite literally. And then she gets that big bubble and then she moves it up. And again, that is such a great body horror moment. All of body horror does not need to be disgusting and, just bloody and gory. We can have weird body horror in these sorts of ways too. So I love watching her move it up her body to get it into her belly button so that she can then pull it out of herself. And you don't know what it is. And you're like, what the heck is happening? It's so effective. The timing on that is perfect. The editing is perfect. The effects are perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good scene. The logistics of it, I'm like, I don't understand how this is happening. Or if it is just another nightmare. I don't know. But yeah, she starts freaking out. And actually, I did feel kind of bad for Sue here because she's like, Elizabeth just sits around all day long and I have to work constantly. She also gets the party, but...
Yeah, Sue is saying she's wasting time. She's wasting 7 days because she's just sitting on her ass for those 7 days.
And
she's like, you got to live a life. The whole point is you got to be living a life. So at least Sue sees herself as the better person because she's living a life. Even if she's being a little bit irresponsible, she sees herself as the good one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's freaking out. But she finds out, she thinks she's about to get fired at one point, but then she finds out that things are looking up for her. She's going to be an even bigger star now.
Yay.
That requires more time.
Mm-hmm.
So she's all happy and has a creepy smile there. Looks like it's out of the
evil-looking picture.
It looks like it's out of the movie Smile. Which again, you gotta see that smile. Let me know what you think of Smile too.
Yeah, well, I've seen the first one. I'm just behind and haven't seen the second one yet. I'm excited.
Well, it just hit digital. Yeah, let me know what you think because it looks fun. Are we still? I just realized we're showing a lot of butts and stuff. I want to make sure we're still on Twitch. Good, we're still on Twitch. Over the summer, I showed a clip of Monica Bellucci not naked, and Twitch decided that was. I guess it was a sex scene, but it was totally censored. It was just her face, and they went, "That's porn." I got a 7-day suspension from Twitch for not showing her boobs. It was very confusing over there. So yeah, she starts over stabilizing. She's taking way more fluid than she's supposed to.
Oh, it's so
Uh,
gross and pussy.
it gets really, really gross. There's just like vials and vials and vials, and then like at one point, Elizabeth wakes up and she is like old now. She looks like the witch from Pumpkinhead. She is
Oh
not
yeah.
happy about this. Nor should she be. She's kind of like fucked over. And she decides to make herself a little meal while Sue is being interviewed on TV. Um, and you just see the total resentment with Elizabeth and Sue. But it's like, yeah, but Elizabeth, it's kind of your fault. You kind of created this, and you can stop it if you want. You're allowing it to go on.
This is such a funny scene though.
Yeah.
This is like, I mean, Elizabeth is like going on a manic downward spiral while
Yeah.
cooking the most disgusting looking French food that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Like there is like foie gras, there is French foods that I've never even heard of in my million
Oh,
years
right.
of
We
life.
forgot her going away gift that the network gave her was like
A French
cookbook.
cookbook,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of disgusting, ugly looking food.
I know.
And so she's like maniacally like, like whisking things together while she's listening to Sue be like, "Oh yeah, I have, just a little beauty secret. It's just smiling and like I'm just perfect." And she's like, "No, your beauty secret is that you're stealing my fluids. Like you're literally sucking crap out of my body. It's insane."
And
It's
again,
so good.
instead of doing something about it, Elizabeth just kind of lets it keep happening so she can complain about that. I don't know. Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Is that something women do, Kaylee? I'm not feeling it. Instead of like fixing the problem, just complaining about it.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
Wow, it must be rare. Must be rare because it's new to me. In the chat, let me know. Have you ever met a woman who decided to complain about something instead of trying to look for a solution? Or knows what the solution is and just doesn't do it. But I like when Sue wakes up and the apartment's just wrecked. And she's so mad at looking at the billboard that she just put newspaper everywhere to block out the billboard.
Oh, it's so good.
Which for me, I'm just like, lady,
They
you didn't own like just like a big curtain? Like, why do you not have a curtain for? Anyway, what were you saying?
Neither of them have any control. They are
Yeah.
both like they have zero control over any of their emotions. They are just trying to punish each other.
Mm-hmm.
That is their
Yeah,
only response.
there's no
to things.
compromise or anything. It's just starting like fights and
Yep.
whatnot. I mean, I guess it is hard for them to communicate, but again, they can write letters and shit.
I do, and one of the things that I think I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this, which I think is a little bit peculiar. But so Sue basically started this back and forth between the two of them. Elizabeth obviously created Sue, but Sue started this back and forth by being reckless, but in going out and getting drunk and trying to use a little bit more stabilizer than she should have. She was the first one who took a bad action.
Yeah. No, yeah,
But-
she did
but-
start this.
But maybe Elizabeth, as the elder, should have been a little bit more forgiving of her younger self being reckless. I mean, I think that we all, as we get older, we start to realize that we did a lot of dumb things when we were a kid, and we forgive ourselves for those things, even if
Yeah.
some of those things really weren't that great. And instead of forgiving her younger self or her better self,
Yeah.
she goes into like a childish war.
Yeah.
And like that, I think that's almost more deplorable than Sue's actions. I think Sue is being naive and kind of a bitch, but I think that Elizabeth is old enough that she should know better.
Actually, it did remind me. We mentioned Sydney Sweeney earlier. Did you see that whole thing where like that older filmmaker or whatever was like just totally shitting on Sydney Sweeney?
No.
Oh God, it was a while ago. Some like female filmmaker or whatever was like, everyone told me to watch this movie, and she's not pretty, and she's not a good actress. And then Sydney Sweeney was like, yeah, we're told that women are supposed to lift each other up, but they actually just don't. They kind of just shit on each other. I'm like, oh shit, I don't think you're supposed to say that the quiet part out loud there. But that was like something recently where this old woman just like was just grilling into Sydney, like totally unprovoked. It's like, wait, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing any of this? Just seems like you're being really mean, to be honest. So yeah, I do think they have something there with like older women and younger women. I mean, older guys screw over younger guys too all the time, so it'd be fun to see a movie from that point of view. 3 months later, she does not let Elizabeth wake up at all for 3 months. And what do you know it? She starts to have stabilization issues the day before the New Year's Eve show. You can't do it the day before.
You know what
New
I
Year's
just realized?
What?
This gives us an entire timeline of the movie. Because in the beginning, when they first start doing the switches, Elizabeth writes on the calendar the weeks that are Sue and the weeks that are Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And that calendar is May. So now we know that the movie takes place from May to, then we have this 3-month blank period.
Yeah.
And then to New Year's Eve. That's interesting. Sorry.
Yeah. It's like half the year
just
there.
realized that. Yeah.
But yeah, she's excited, but she starts like freaking out. The stabilizer has gone bad. So she is forced to switch, even though she doesn't want to. And
Because she's
goddamn,
supposed to host the New Year's Eve event.
I know, but it's either that or you die. But Jesus Christ, was she not looking at Elizabeth on the floor and not feeling a little bit bad about this?
No, she doesn't care.
She's now like Gollum, like a hunchback
Yeah,
Gollum.
she's a hunchback, saggy boob gremlin.
Yes. Totally gross and creepy, and she's like really, really mad.
If we're talking about boob prosthetics, though, we do need to talk a little bit about those because those are also, I mean, they're a different kind of good. I wouldn't call them aesthetically pleasing, but they are good.
Sorry, hold on. I think Casey's watching because I just got a text saying Margaret was a ballerina. I just got a text about the actress.
Oh,
Apparently
okay.
she was a ballerina.
Okay,
Thank
so maybe
you,
that was actually her doing the split.
Okay, thank you, Casey. Thank you.
Right.
So yeah, she orders her final kit. By the way, it's like, okay, here's your final kit to get rid of your other self. It's like, are there instructions for how to get rid of a body? Like,
Yeah,
what is-
she orders the termination. She's like, I am done. I don't want to do this anymore. I have officially been aged out of anything that I am capable of being aged anymore. And she wants to stop.
Yeah, so she grabs Sue and drags her all the way into the living room. And she puts the termination liquid in her heart, but she doesn't inject all of it. She like looks at the New Year's thing and remembers that that's what she wanted to do. And even though they are different people, even though they're supposed to be technically one, she's like, wait, but if she does this, I can live vicariously through her. So I need her to live.
The camera focuses. Sue received flowers, and on those flowers, there's a card that says they're going to love you.
Yeah.
And I think that Elizabeth in that moment realizes that she is a part of you and she can also be loved.
Yes. So she takes the termination liquid out, but I guess there was enough in to kind of break a connection. So for the first time, they're awake at the same time and can communicate with each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, it's so good.
Mercilessly beating her. Now, again, are they humans? Because Sue is now superhuman. Look at this. She kicks her across the goddamn room.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going on with these clones, but they seem to be a little, I mean, they are better enhanced, but they didn't mention anything about like super strength. I feel like they left that part out.
It's also interesting to watch them battle because Elizabeth, as this feeble old lady, has been feeble previously, but during this fight, all of a sudden she has superpowers. And she no longer, she's, earlier in the movie, she's like struggling to walk on her old lady leg. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I can do whatever the heck I want right now.
Well,
which is fine with me because we get to see the two of them beating each other into a bloody pulp.
It's
amazing.
It's a pretty great fight. It's bloody as hell too.
Brutal.
So yeah, Elizabeth dead. Sue wins. I'm not sure what her long-term plans were. But Sue gets all dressed up. She goes to the thing, but now her teeth are falling out. And this leads to a funny moment where Dennis Quaid is like, you have to smile. And I think we learned a really good lesson. Pretty girls should always be smiling. Wasn't that the lesson of the film?
That was one of the words that was said in the film.
Guys, if you're out in public and you see a girl sad, remind her to smile.
Do you know that that actually happens? Like that's not just a trope. I have been told, and girls that I have been with have been told to smile. I probably couldn't count it.
No.
Uh,
I've
I-
had
I-
like I've had
like
like
a million times.
I've had like family members, like my mom and grandmother, say it to me at events. I've never had people out in public just say smile
Like
randomly.
random people. The guy working at the Chinese food store, like there'll be like a guy driving down the road. You should smile. Okay.
I don't know.
Just
I've
walking
never.
down the road.
I honestly, jokes aside, I don't think I've ever had the urge to say smile to a pretty girl in public.
Yeah.
I kind
I
of just
do-
don't care and just keep walking.
Yeah, what do you care if I'm smiling?
Yeah, I don't care. If I have a girlfriend who's sad, I'll be like, cheer up. But that's like it. I'm not going around being like, hey, lady, smile. I
Yeah.
don't care if they smile.
I do really like also though when they're all telling her to smile. So all of those guys, I like the idea that those are like the investors or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what term they're used for them.
Or
But
board
I love that
members,
it's
something
all
like
these
that, yeah.
old white men.
Yeah.
Like that is so genius. And again, maybe we can get into the feminism a little bit, but I don't necessarily see a lot of it in this film. However, I think it is really funny when we have moments like this. All of the people judging her and talking to her about who she is are old white men.
That is pretty funny. But not as funny as her smiling with her mouth closed.
Yeah. She's
That's pretty good.
so nervous.
But even that's not as funny as Dennis Quaid just getting distracted by feathers. He's like, feathers! He was cracking me up all that. Now, you know what? Now I will watch Reagan.
Yeah. You sold yourself into it.
What you call it? Johanna, you were complaining that we're not doing enough episodes together. Let's do Reagan. We're going to do Reagan together. Reagan versus The Apprentice. Which president movie is better? We're going to do that. Christy Swanson is in Reagan. The best Buffy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Every other girl on this channel.
I've never
disagrees.
seen Buffy
The movie or the show?
either.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to get into Buffy, watch the movie.
No, I'm okay. Thank you, though.
No, watch the movie and then never watch the show because it's for nerds.
No, do you know what? Do you know how I get my Adam Bush content?
No,
My
that's right.
Adam Bush.
Wait, you tell Adam Bush that the show ruined the perfect movie.
Adam Bush is in Dave Made a Maze, and that is the only Adam Bush that we ever need. Dave Made a Maze is friggin' amazing, and I don't care about Buffy. So those are
I
my
did
words.
tell. I think I told.
And
Johanna,
everybody hates me now.
I did tell Johanna and Angela. I'm like, hey, do you guys know who this guy is? And they're like, oh my god, that's him. Oh. Speaking of Buffy, but the guy who was in cooler stuff, at Monster Mania, I met Mark Metcalf, who was, apparently he's the master in the Buffy show, but fuck that, he's the maestro in Seinfeld.
Oh.
And he's Niedermeyer in Animal House, and he appreciated my Animal House costume. And so did you. Thank you for saying that my costume was ridiculous.
It was great. I loved it.
You said, like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm like, is that good or is that bad? I don't know which one that is.
I was purposely vague.
I am planning on reviewing some Belushi movies, which means I have to shave again, and I'm not looking for it. You guys are really mean to me when I shave, by the way. I get so many comments like, what the fuck's wrong with your face? Also, guys, if I post a picture of me when I'm 14, don't ask what happened and why I don't look like that anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty cruel, Tony.
I was fucking 14. Okay, yes, I did let myself go. That was related to women and booze. But also, I'm 35. I'm not going to look for it. I need the substance now because no one thinks I'm an attractive 14-year-old anymore, I guess. That is a little weird. We're like, man, you were good looking. I'm like, I was 14, you pervert. Shut up.
Yeah, that was not a great thread for you.
It was really not. By the way, the focus was Tony Todd and how I met the late Tony Todd. And everyone's like, Tony, you look like
nobody
shit
was talking
now.
Yeah, they were all talking about the other Tony in that picture.
So annoying. Thank you for not being mean on my Tony Todd post. Anyway, so yeah, spoiler right there. Sue is like, fuck it, I'm falling apart. I'll make a better version of myself, even though that's not how that works. And again, they should have supplied you with just enough activator. So another thing comes out of her, and it's horrifying and disgusting. And then this is when you get like the real Cronenberg reanimator site type shit.
Yay.
And you got Demi Moore's face sticking out of the back of her,
It's so
screaming,
good.
and it's Monstro Eliza Sue.
Yes, I love it so much. It's so good.
People were saying this is when the movie gets a little South Park, and I'm like, yeah, but I kind of like it. I kind of like that it went that hard.
It's a satire. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. That's exactly what we should be doing in a movie like this. We're making commentary about how people want to become better versions of themselves and how that can be detrimental. And we're making critiques on Hollywood. And so now, as Monstro Eliza Sue, she has to start doing things because she wants to continue being a part of the world, because she wants people to love her. And that's all she's craving. And it's so well done. And it's monstrous and it's disgusting and it's grotesque. And it's so good. I love it so much. I can't say enough good things about it.
But look. She comes up with the perfect disguise.
Yes.
She's just going to post the poster on her face.
It's perfect.
Stick it on her.
She adds a little something to it. Do you have a picture of the thing that she adds to it?
I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of, although fake, just boobs all over this thing. So I don't know if I was able to. I know she does her hair. She puts a necklace on,
and then she puts lipstick on top of the Demi Moore
she
cutout, which I think is just. That's why I'm wearing my red lipstick today.
Oh, good. I forgot my red lipstick. That's my bad.
Yes.
But yeah, I do like that she goes to the studio and she's hallucinating everyone, like congratulating her.
Yeah.
But it's all fantasy. Keep in mind, I'm assuming Monstro Eliza Sue has like warped brain, so they're not really working with the best there. But they try to do a whole announcement. And this, by the way, what kind of TV program is this? Because there's just tits everywhere.
So not only are there tits everywhere, in the audience, they show a bunch of the old men, but they also show a little girl.
Yeah.
And it is the most confusing. Also, they're acting like this is the big New Year's Eve thing, but it looks like a very small production and a relatively small crowd.
Yeah.
So like, what was
the show? Was it like a
no
variety show? I'm not really sure what the show was.
I have no idea. We needed a longer movie to be able to find out things like that.
But she does an aerobics thing. Was she going to do aerobics in the blue? It was very bizarre. But yeah, her mask falls off, and suddenly that's when people are horrified. The monster! I like how this guy says the monster. I feel like he doesn't say a monster. He goes the monster. I'm like, oh, were you guys aware of a monster out there?
Yeah. Well, the thing that actually makes people start screaming is after she vomits a boob.
Oh,
which is
right.
Hilarious.
Where did the boob come out of? The middle of her face, like the casting guy said earlier in the film. And they said, if only she had a boob growing out of her face instead of her nose. It was a callback. It was
I like it. But this is the first of several. So like when everybody starts yelling, this is the first of several Hollywood and classic things that we get references to. So it's very Frankenstein's monster-esque. Everybody is, yelling and forming this mob against the monster. And then we get a ton, like back to back to back references to Hollywood films, which I think is, again, this is an entire critique of Hollywood films because, of course, well, I'll let you continue. And
well, here we have a guy like straight up comes out and chops her head off, and she just grows a new one. And then she just
regenerating.
Yeah, she regenerates. She's spraying blood all over the crowd, which of course is a reference to the 1991 Addams Family film, obviously.
Of course.
For Wednesday and Pugsley is just spraying the audience with blood. But yeah, she starts like running away like a monster would in a classic Hollywood film.
Yeah, and all while the classic 2001 A Space Odyssey song is playing.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's also Zarathustra. I can never pronounce the name of that song.
I can't pronounce
it.
But
that's in both 2001 A Space Odyssey and in Being There. And it is such a transformative song. So to have it playing during the scene where she is circling around, she's going in a circle and just spewing blood absolutely everywhere. Yeah. in
And
her gorgeous dress. It's so good. Oh my God, I love
do you
it.
know what else that music is made famous for?
Go on.
Wow, Vinnie Paulino would be upset with you. That's Ric Flair's theme. That's been his entrance music
Of course
for
I
decades.
know that. I know that, of course.
Continue. What were you saying?
I was going to say, and then we get to see that Shining-esque hall again.
Yes.
So again, we get to see the blood actually starts soaking out the hallway. So again, it's the Shining. And there's just, oh my God, I can't say enough good things about the end of this film. It's an explosion of blood and guts.
Yes. Speaking of explosion, I get that her body's falling apart. But at
Yeah.
one point, there is like a legit explosion, like fire comes out of her. And for a minute, I thought she was being shot. But no, I guess whatever the substance is doing is just literally catching on fire and blowing her up.
I assumed that had to do with, there are 3 earlier times in the movie where we get to see kind of like a burning emblem. We get to see a burning heart. We get to see a burning dragon.
Yeah.
And we get to see one other thing like that. So I figured that there was some sort of connection to that again, I thought might have ended up on the cutting room floor. One more thing about the blood and guts, because I'm just so excited about it, dang it. I love that this is basically her like vomiting blood on a society that has told her she's not good enough. Like that is such a I love the end of this movie. Okay. I was literally in the theater like clapping and going, yay.
I should have saw that. I feel like I would have had a lot of fun with this.
I was cackling. I had so much fun.
Adam told me to see it in theaters, but like I looked at the length and there was just a lot going on this week, and I'm like, I have to just watch it at home. But I would have loved this in theaters.
I am so glad that I saw this in theaters.
What was the best theater experience I've had in a while was Beau is Afraid. Have you seen Beau is Afraid yet?
Yeah.
Did you get to see that in theaters?
I walked to the theater to go see it, and it was jam-packed, and I don't like seeing movies in theaters that are jam-packed, so I turned around and went home.
What?
I know. I'm a crazy person.
No, you have to see Ari
Yeah,
Aster
I know.
films.
I regret it.
You have to see Ari Aster films in the theater with the
I know.
crowd. Because it really connects everyone.
I saw both Hereditary and Midsommar in theaters, and then I just Beau is Afraid. I was afraid. What can I say?
Midsommar and Beau is Afraid is one of the best theater experience I had ever. When the dad finally showed up in that film, I was in a theater full of strangers. I was by myself, and we were all the same level of shocked and excited and just amazed. We're just looking at each other like, I don't even know who you are. Can you believe that? Yeah. God, that movie was so great. Best movie of 2023. Anyway, so she explodes, but the Demi Moore head is still alive, and it starfishes over conveniently.
The smooshed self.
Yeah, conveniently to her star on the Walk of Fame. And then
true resilience, Tony. It's true resilience.
Yes. And then she hallucinates some sparkles while looking at the stars. And then she dies and turns into a puddle of goop, and then they vacuum her up the next day.
Yeah.
The end.
Yay.
The substance. I loved it. I can see why people recommended this to me. I'm glad they did. One guy who recommended it to me over and over again is in the goddamn chat, and I see him. And he sent me more craft stuff because he wants me to review Craft Legacy. Yeah, I had a really, really good time with this. Do you have anything you want to say about it? Like last words on it?
I mean, we didn't really get into the idea.
Get into anything right now.
One of the questions that I was going to ask you is everybody is commenting about how feminist this movie is. And I did not see that at all.
Maybe not I don't think feminist. I think it's just like people are saying, oh, this is like stuff women have to deal. It's relatable to women, not necessarily feminist.
I've been seeing a lot of commentary that it is actively a feminist movie. And I can't actually find anybody who will explain to me why that is. So if
I don't know what feminism I don't know what feminism means anymore, so that could be part of it.
Maybe that's my issue as well.
It's a movie about a woman. It's feminist. I'm like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think that. I mean, I think that we could have a very similar story with male characters as the lead. I think it would be slightly different. So it might be a little bit less about vanity and a little bit more about providing to be our most stereotypical male and female selves.
And
But
you could
you
go
know,
after
I wouldn't call this movie, but with men, a meninist movie. You know, like it's not. I don't see it in that way
You
at all. I
could
think,
do an interesting story of older men versus younger men.
yeah,
Speaking of young women, older men love to go after young women and rob young men of the women their age. It's like a whole
the
problem.
opportunity to, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
a thing that you think.
it's
It's a
like
little incelly, Tony.
no, I'm just saying it's just like they purposely prey on like younger women, and then guys like me are like, oh well, I just gotta settle for whatever. I guess I'll settle for 61-year-old Demi Moore. I don't know. I'm gonna be like
Oh,
Frank.
you poor, poor thing. I'm so sorry for you.
And older guys like to screw over younger guys. Yeah, you know, I actually do want to see the nurse's story now. I want to see what's going on with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting take on it. But yeah, no, I'm not getting the feminist thing. It's definitely a movie more geared toward women and like issues that they experience, although cartoony, exaggerated versions of the issues.
Well, again, it's satire.
Yeah, which is fine,
works.
which is fine. But again, I've never met a guy who went around laughing that women become more infertile in their late 20s. I've never experienced that other than this movie.
It's today's it's the 2024 equivalent of Marissa Tomei going, "My biological clock is ticking." I can't do a Marissa Tomei. I'm the worst at impressions. Never asked me to do impressions. That was Marissa Tomei. You can tell.
That was a pretty bad Marissa Tomei.
Talk about another beautiful aging woman.
Yes. Remember when Swedish versions of movies were popular when Be Kind Rewind came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my friends, we did My Cousin Vinny, and I was Marissa Tomei in it, and I think I did a pretty damn good job as Marissa Tomei in that film.
I'm sure you did better than I just did.
I 100% did better than you. I fucking love My Cousin Vinny. Holy shit. Okay, any other questions or any comments?
I just loved it so much. I can't say enough about how much fun this was. A lot. I think it's kind of low hanging fruit to compare it to Cronenberg, but it is so Cronenberg-esque. And that's what we love about body horror. You know, the idea of body horror is that I should be horrified even in the moments where I'm not seeing the disgusting transformations. And this movie did that to me. Body horror is all about self-reflection, which we get to see so much of with the mirrors, with the vanity. And it is so much about, how we feel about ourselves. And a lot of the time we feel horrible about ourselves and we want to be a better version of ourselves. And we like to take shortcuts to that. And that's what body horror should be about. And this movie succeeds completely.
I'm glad they brought this out right around the time Ozempic is becoming a thing.
So convenient.
Also,
it was the people who made the substance all along. They're also making Ozempic.
Not just Cronenberg though, but Stuart Gordon also.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
This was definitely very inspired by both of their stuff. I still have. Speaking of Stuart Gordon, I still have not watched the Castle Freak remake that Barbara Crampton produced. Have you seen it? Or
yeah, you should see it.
Oh, is it actually good?
Yeah, well, I mean, you should see it.
Okay, I guess I'll watch the Castle Freak remake. I do love the original Castle Freak, although I'm not sure what
I didn't hate it. Is my I think that there are things that you will enjoy.
What was the Castle Freak? Because, like, how did he survive not eating for 20 years? Anyway.
I don't ever ask myself these questions. I just say, did I have fun or did I not have fun? And dang it, I love having fun during movies.
Real quick, I see a patron in here, but he usually wears a mask, so I'm going to give him a second to put on his mask. There we go. Whoa, Lucha! Oh, #1 Buffy series fan. I don't care that he donates $10. Not on my shirt. No, I'm kidding. Hello, Lucha Steve. How are you?
Hello, everybody. I am doing pretty good. I just I'm at the end of a flu, so it's nice to feel somewhat normal again.
Everyone is getting sick around me. Somehow, me, who gets sick all the time whenever there's something going around, I managed to avoid it, and I don't know how I did it, but everyone around me is getting sick. I have magic blood. That's all I'm going to say. Did you watch The Substance?
Yes, I did. I watched it like the second week it was out. I was like really looking forward to it. So like I made sure to like not
Did
even
you?
just go, but specifically to go when there's an audience there.
I should have saw it in theaters. Damn it.
Yeah, you should have.
It's a good thing. I don't
Shut
mean
up,
to rub
Bo
it
is
in.
afraid, Ditcher. God.
I don't mean to rub it in, but it was a good theater experience.
Damn it. What did you like about the film?
Um, that's I can't. It's hard for me to think of like one thing. But,
What did you like most about the film, other than her butt? What did you
Which
like
boobs were your favorite boobs?
I kind of just want to say like the satire element
Mm.
of it. I really love like how over the top it was. Like there's no way you watch this movie and you're just like, what was this all about? Like
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious, and it's like just like how ridiculous it gets. Like you guys were like kind of like critiquing like, oh, no man really talks like that. I'm hoping like the point of that is that it's just like so over the top that it's
Yeah.
like you're supposed to like obviously laugh at it.
Yeah,
And you're
I
supposed to
think
kind of just
like I said, I think it's over the top. But like I said, I saw people being like, "Oh, this is relatable." Like, what? No,
yeah.
no
like,
one is.
I
being
could
like
understand
that.
like someone like watching this movie be like, oh, I had things like that, but it's like of course like not exactly like that. No one acts like there's some sleazy people in the world, but no one acts like how Dennis Quaid acts in this movie.
I mean, I've also never had, Monstro Tony Steve spew blood all over me. So it's not supposed to be entirely realistic, right?
Yeah.
I did see my friend 80s Girl was talking about the movie kind of lost her in the second act. It got a little too extreme for her. I guess the monster is a little out there, but no, they build up to the monster by showing to me turn more monstrous throughout the film. But
Yeah, I think
guess
when
for
you
some
see her
people it
looking
didn't
like
work.
I think when she starts to look like a goblin, it's kind of just like, okay, yeah, there's definitely layers to like this, whatever this could mutate into.
Maybe her disguise was a little too much for people. They're like, okay, that is obviously not going to work. I think they forgot that she probably has 10 brains in her head and they're all like not very big.
I do like how it somehow kind of worked for like a little bit. People bought it.
People just weren't paying attention at first. They're like, oh, is there someone standing there? Like, oh, God.
I don't know if it's like
They were distracted by all the boobies on stage.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like, yeah, that people see boobs and they see a pretty face. It's like, what else is there to look at?
Yeah.
But,
Nothing.
Yeah.
Did you think it was too long?
Not really. I'm like Cayley. I didn't really feel the length of this at all. I'm not the biggest fan of watching movies like over 2 hours. Like I need to be in the mood for it. Luckily, I was in the mood for this, so like I was just enjoying the ride the whole way through.
Nice.
I came out of the theater thinking that it had been an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I really did not feel the length of this even in the slightest.
It wasn't like Terrifier 2 where it's like I liked it, but at the end of the day it's like, okay, yeah, you could cut out like 40 minutes of this movie easily.
By the way, Kaylee.
Yes.
So I was late to Terrifier 2. I finally watched it for my review, and I was like, good.
And then you watched my review of it.
I
also
did, and I've been noticing lately. Anytime there's an eye injury, you keep bringing me up. And all I'm saying is that's a really good way to get me to throw sharks in every single one of my reviews.
I don't like that at all. Okay, I promise no more eyeball stuff. No more. I was actually very surprised. So I went and saw The Substance when it was in theaters, and then I rewatched it again today. And I was very surprised that there was like no eyeball stuff.
Other than the boob coming out of her eye. That was it. But there's so many
I was
eye
watching
injuries in
specifically
movies.
for you because I was going to bring it all up, but now I never will because I hate sharks. So
Yeah. Well,
you figured out how to shut me up. Good
spoiler,
job.
I am doing a Gladiator 2 over the weekend. There were sharks in Gladiator 2. Now,
That makes sense, obviously.
I'll bring it up when we review that movie, but real quick, there is evidence that the Colosseum could hold water, and they did do naval battles, an earlier version of the Colosseum, so they're not exactly sure how. There's no reports on how they got fucking sharks in the Coliseum, so I think the movie might have made it up. I'm not sure though. I'm not an historian.
I'm not like an expert on Italy, but how close to the Colosseum is it to water?
That's what I want to know. I asked my friend Trisha, I'm like, hey, if I visit the Coliseum, do they still have the old timey aquarium where they held all the sharks? And she texted me, she's like, there were sharks in the movie? I'm like, yeah, there were actually sharks in the movie. Anyway, more on that later this weekend. My thoughts on Gladiator 2, but the 2 is in the middle of the title, so it's Gladiator. Lucha Steve, any last words before I go into all these super chats here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, this is easily my favorite movie of the year.
Ooh.
Like, it was Dune too for like the longest time, but like this movie, I think just I loved it so much that it shot past like Dune 2. It's my only 10 out of 10 movie of the year so far.
Wow.
Who knows what else can happen in the next I don't know, 5 weeks. But
I'm trying to think what I think my favorite and best movie that I've seen. I did like the Bike Riders earlier this year. I like Dune 2, except the ending. I loved Saturday Night, which I was telling you about. Cayley is reviewing all the Saturday Night Live movies on her channel. For some reason.
I watched part of her It's Pat video.
Yeah, it's been great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Oh man, there are some pretty bad ones. I will be reviewing Blues Brothers, which I actually watched the director's cut of Blues Brothers recently. Talk about too fucking long. There's a reason they cut 15 minutes out of that movie.
Now you know how why Elwood has the cheese whiz.
Whatever.
Cayley, don't forget Bob Roberts. I don't know if you did Bob Roberts. That's kind of an SNL movie.
I'll make sure to include it. Thank you.
I'm making you watch a movie about a Republican now. So
I can't wait. I'm writing it down right now. I have never seen that, so I can't wait to learn all about Republicans from that movie, and that will be my only knowledge of them.
I saw you did Superstar, which my sister used to love.
Yes.
Are you gonna do Stuart Saves His Family?
I am.
Oh.
I'm doing everything. I'm suffering through it all. I am excited. I will tell you, I remember liking The Ladies' Man, so I'm excited to check that out again. I love Night at the Roxbury.
Night at the Roxbury.
At least the last time that I watched it, I remember that I loved it. So I have some things I'm excited about. I have some things that I'm nervous about. It should be fun.
Did you Coneheads already?
I did Coneheads. Coneheads was actually my first.
I did want to say, I know for Peg Warmers, the toy review show that I do, that Carl ripped apart because he's an asshole. We are doing the Coneheads toy line, or we're planning to do a review on the. I will shout your video out because I don't have a review.
Why, thank you.
But yeah, all right, Lucha, I'm gonna let you out.
Bye.
Thank you for being a patron.
Everybody become a $10 patron, so it's not just me doing these.
Yeah, for some reason the wrap-ups more people will come on, but the individual episodes, people are like, nah. No one came on for the Penguin. I thought people would have a lot to say.
I was going to come on for the Penguin, but I had a massive sore throat that day.
Oh, god damn you. Okay. All right. Goodbye, Lucha Steve.
Bye.
All right, Kayla, we're going to read some super chats, and then you can do your plugs, and we'll get out of here.
Cool beans.
Bill gifted 10 Hack the Movies memberships. Holy shit. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah,
awesome.
Bill. Look at that Canadian maple leaf, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Excited.
Terrifier Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
Here we go. AJ Wizzle for $9.99. He's the one who really wanted me to do the substance. He's Kaylee, he's the guy on Twitter who is constantly tweeting about me but not tagging me, so he just seems like a crazy person. Tony,
I do that to both John and Aaron Imholt, so
that's pretty funny. Did you see the clip? I think I might have. I know I sent it to producer Chris. Did you see me freaking out that I didn't reach the goal?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
So, which is funny because like I feel like a lot of my audience isn't like they don't overlap with WATP too much, so they were like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
It was great.
Tony, Lawnmower 2 was your best review this year. Your magnum opus. You said so much by saying so little. I've watched it 10 times already. Would you ever consider reviewing a movie twice? Cayley, you've seen Lawnmower Man, right?
I sure have.
And I'm sure you watched my episode. Not a lot of people did, but I'm sure you watched my episode.
Of course.
I think, let me know if I fucked up. Should I have not named the episode The Most Faithful Stephen King Adaptation? Did I go wrong with that? I think that might have contributed to the low view number, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, sometimes we clickbait, right?
Okay. Yes, AJ Wizzle a while ago sent me a physical copy of Lawnmower Man 2. Have you ever seen Lawnmower Man 2?
No.
It stars the guy who plays Max Headroom as Job. He comes back.
Okay.
It's terrible. Me and Tim reviewed it. It took us a few months to get together to review it. In that time, we both tried to watch the movie like 4 times and couldn't get through it in one sitting and kept it. We had just watched it the night before the shoot, and you'll see in the review we're struggling to I've never experienced this where a movie gives you amnesia as you're watching it. That's how bad it is. You should review both of them. But yeah, AJ Wizzle was very happy because he gave me the DVD, and then Tim gave me the Laserdisc, the VHS copy, and a bunch of other stuff. So
it's always nice to own things like that on multiple formats, you know?
Oh yeah, I just love having the biggest Lawnmower Man 2 collection. It's the highlight of my life. Lenny Laserdisc for $4.99. Oh my fucking God. Cayley and Tony talking about The Substance. If both of you took The Substance, who would you turn into and why? Well, I think we agree that I am the other self of Glenn Powell, and he is my Matrix. But who's your younger version?
For sure, Sydney Sweeney. Is she still young? Do we count her as young still? Yeah. I want to be Sydney Sweeney. She's definitely younger than me, that's for sure. Also, hi Lenny Laserdiscs.
She is 27. So
yeah, she's young. Yeah. I think that would be wonderful.
Wait, hold on. Oh, fuck. Anything But You came out last year? Fuck. I was going to include Anyone But You, that rom-com that she was in, on the end of year wrap-up because I just wanted to make the thumbnail Sydney Sweeney's in a bikini. But I'm seeing here it came out in December 2023, so I fucked up.
I'm really sorry to hear that for you. Are you going to be okay?
I reviewed the other films that she was in. Was she in any other movies this year that I can... For some reason, when I did a wrap-up and put Sydney Sweeney on the cover, those streams did a little bit better than other ones. So now I got to see what else she was in. Fuck, what's Eden?
I don't know.
Okay, she's got a movie coming out. Oh, God damn it. It's an indie Toronto thing with Ron Howard. Anyway.
You're going to love it.
If it comes out, if it hits streaming before the end of the year, I'm putting it on the end of the year wrap-up. The Bologna Factory for $10. Tony doesn't dress up for Zardoz, and no one-piece workout tights or Substance. Son, I am disappointed. If it makes you feel better.
Absolutely, Bologna Factory. Agree 100%.
If it makes you feel better, in the Page Master episode, I wear a yellow rain jacket to look like Macaulay Culkin in the movie. Is that good?
No, Tony. Look at how fancy I got for The Substance.
I should have put gym gear on, but I just got out of the gym and just showered. I didn't want to put more gym gear on.
You could have worn the same outfit for Zardoz as you did for The Substance.
God damn it.
I'm just saying, you only need one Halloween costume.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. I still have the page up for Eden. Ana de Armas, Vanessa Kirby, and Sydney Sweeney. Holy shit. I need to see that film. That is like a trifecta there. Sorry. I sorry about that. I don't know if you saw my Lost Boys review, but I did vow to get into enough shape to look like the sexy sax man.
Oh, you're dumb.
What? Why?
That you vowed to do that? What's the punishment when you don't?
I don't know. I didn't think about it that hard. I just want to go to karaoke night with like a blow up saxophone and do the song.
He recently went on tour. He was in Rochester.
It all comes back to Rochester, doesn't it?
I'm just saying.
What's funny? Someone left a comment. I haven't verified it, but apparently there are Lost Boys comic books. And according to some comic, it's revealed that he is actually an elite vampire hunter. And I'm like, I gotta read that fucking book. Because I was just like, why are there not 10 movies about the sax man? And we got 2 direct-to-videos about Corey Feldman. What a waste. All right. Kiryu Pilot 379 for 1999. Hey Tony, this is a week late, but you mentioned that it's strange that characters in The Penguin have Jersey accents. Well, that might have been done because Gotham is canonically located in New Jersey in the comics. Maybe comic continuity changes all the time. They were always super vague. They never really say it. Maybe they do in some versions, but whatever. They could base it off Jersey. That's fine. I'm fine with Gotham being Jersey. AJ Wizzle again for $4.99. Tony, The Substance is a postmodern meditation on women's dysfunctional relationship with aging in a capitalist society. Again, for celebrities,
I like it.
Again, for celebrities, I think that's going to change because of social media. You'll always be in someone's view, and they won't forget about you as long as you post.
You know, I mean, there's always the stereotype about, you know, men are allowed to age and women are not. And that is, I don't think that that's inaccurate. I think that women still start to become irrelevant as they age. Not always. You know, we have Jennifer Aniston, we have Demi Moore, we have Marissa Tomei. But
Okay.
it's certainly, so it's less common now.
But you know what you can do?
Mm,
You can go for other roles.
take the substance.
No.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like there are some people are like, I'm old and not attractive. I'm like, yeah, but have you looked into, and are you turning down roles that could be good for you? You know who has never really been a looker and who's acted consistently and will till the day she dies? Margot Martindale. No one's ever gone, Margot Martindale's beautiful. No, she's looked like an old lady for 30 years and she acts all the goddamn time. She probably acts more than any other actor on the face of the earth. You just got to change the roles that you're offered. You know, you got to go for different types of roles and you can be in there forever. Unless you weren't that good of an actress to begin with and you were getting by on your looks, in which case then, yeah, you're kind of fucked. Trying to think, who did that happen to? Can you think of that an actress who was like Megan Fox? She's in a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
Right? She still has her looks, I guess, but her acting wasn't great. So once those go, it's like, all right, well, you're fucked.
Maybe the reason that her thumb's all weird is because of the substance.
No,
Have
some
we
people
considered that? Anyway,
some
go
people
on.
some people just have those thumbs, Cayley.
Yeah, all right.
Have you not run into these people?
Yeah, have you not seen the meme that's like, don't show me your thumb if it looks like this? And then it's like picture after picture, people holding pictures of that. Yeah, it's really, whatever, Tony.
Pretty funny.
Whatever, Tony.
Anyway, AJ Wizzle again for $1.99. Why is it that Vito goes missing every other week? Oh, Vito Gesualdi? I don't have time to talk about Vito Gesualdi. Riley and Mid Salad are in LA this week, so I think Vito is like on lockdown. They went to the Costco that Vito shops at, and they're posting pictures from it. And I'm just like, God damn it. Do you know how hard it is to be friends with both of those people? Do you know how hard it is? It's very, very hard.
You do God's work.
When are you going to get into like a fight with like Carl or whatever? And I'll have to dance between both sides there. Let me know when that happens. Matt Florent for $5 says, Cayley, no, we'll get rid of that. No, Cayley, you're perfect.
What nice thing did it say about me?
Cayley, you're perfect just the way you are. Tony,
Aw.
keep trying, buddy.
Aw. Thank you, Matt.
Okay, all right. Anyway, H.A. Whistle again. He's on a roll tonight. Tony, I love Margaret Qualley. Such a babe. Loved her in Sanctuary, Once Upon, and Death Stranding. Death Stranding's that video game. I didn't play it because Kojima makes terrible video games that are just awful movies in disguise, and nerds who love anime pretend that they're great. Movie Buff 3000 for $2. Tony, it's Frank Welker, not Weckler. God damn it. That's for the Page Master review. I guess I fucked up his name again.
You're the worst.
Oh, do not get on me on how things should be pronounced.
I think I might be heading over there to make some comments about something about audio. I think everybody should maybe just join me in that. You don't even have to listen, really. You could just make the comments if you wanted to. You know, I mean, it's your choice. It's your choice.
Did I tell you what happened? How I fucked it up?
No, I don't care. No, I mean, tell me. I do care. Tell me.
Okay. So I did a commentary track. And then when I was setting it up, I plugged microphone 2 into microphone 3's port.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you know that's kind of what happened when I did Unfrosted with Carl and Jen, but Carl's the one who fucked it up, and then I took the blame for it because I'm an adult lady, and this
And
is
now
the
you're
first time that
saying
I'm
it
telling
live?
anybody that. Yeah,
Now you're saying it live. Okay.
he fucked it up. He fucked up Jen's mic.
What an asshole.
He's a professional.
I haven't had
I
an
can't
audio
talk.
file.
I fucked up so much. I literally just did an entire review of the movie Lust Caution with the guys from Porn Stash podcast.
That was a good one.
And I fucked up the technology. It's me, I'm hosting and I fucked up the technology. And they were so wonderful and so patient with me. And the review is still coming out, but I will also have a little preface in the same way that you did where I'm talking about how I fucked it up.
Make sure to
So please don't comment on that one.
Make sure to say that at the beginning. Say don't
Yes,
comment.
Yes.
Tony, on behalf of the fans, your substance stabilizer is ragu. That is offensive. That is offensive. So AJ Whistle again. I here to research the character. Dennis Quaid watched the movie.
That's great. That's a good one.
AJ Whistle again for $9.99. Tony, the end of this movie where the kid is sprayed with blood. The only time I laughed this much since is your Lawnmower Man 2 review. Is this 2024's best comedy? I mean, I'm trying to think of like comedies from this year other than Saturday Night, but even that was like a drama at some points.
I laughed hysterically at this. I mean,
I was having a good time with it.
I was in the audience like cackling. It was great.
Also, I think that for some reason the Smile movies make me laugh, even though they're not exactly funny. And I was cracking up at the end of the new one, so that might be the best comedy. I'm trying to think, like, when's the last time you saw like a legit, straight up comedy that wasn't mixed with any other genre? Oh, Unfrosted, but that was pretty bad. Yeah, it's hard to say.
No, I know I've seen other things more recently than that. I'll think of something as soon as we're off the air.
Space Cadet, not very good. Not a very good comedy. It was very, very bad. The Hitman, it was barely a comedy. All right. Next up, Joe Pinocchio for $10. I love this movie, but at the end, didn't it feel like one giant Tales from the Crypt episode? I can see that.
Maybe a better produced.
Oh, it actually reminds me of the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger directed. Did you ever see that Tales of the Crypt?
I'm sure I have. I can't.
That's the one where William Hickey borrows body parts from a big bodybuilder. He pays him to have his body parts so he can get with a hot lady. But at the end, the lady picks the young guy because he has all the money. And I'm like, that was good. That was good. Yeah. The Flail for $5. Can we get a everything you always wanted to know about sex but were afraid to ask review starring Gene Wilder? I don't think I've ever seen that one. Have you seen that movie?
I don't think I have either. And I've seen a lot. I thought that I had seen the entire filmography of Gene Wilder, but I'm sure that I could have missed something.
I have not seen his entire...
I've seen a lot of his movies. I had assumed that it was the entire filmography. Although anytime that I go on Letterboxd, I realize that I have seen far less movies of anybody. You know, I can pick any person. I'm like, oh, I've seen all their movies, and then I'm like,
I feel like you've seen more
haven't.
movies than me. Oh, it's a Woody Allen film starring Gene Wilder. I know I haven't seen all of Gene Wilder's films because years ago I found my grandfather's Betamax collection. And the one tape just said hanky panky. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, no. Please do not tell me this is my grandparents getting it on in the 80s. Oh, God. And then we Googled it. We're like, oh, it's a Gene Wilder movie. Okay, we're good. We're good. But yes, I will look into that. I do like Gene Wilder. Go back and watch my Willy Wonka review that no one liked. I had a lot of fun with that one. Cody Bishop for $1.99. Tony, dude, Ally McBeal is streaming on Hulu. Yes, I've been told it's streaming on Hulu. Cayley, do you think women have forgotten about Ally McBeal and they need Ally McBeal in their life?
I had forgotten about it until this very moment, but I also never watched it.
Oh man, my mom was super into Ally McBeal when I was a kid, so I watched a lot of Ally McBeal. But I feel like that is like a feminist character that's like fun and relatable. But
Yeah,
like,
she's like an attorney.
yes, but I feel like it just didn't stream for a very, very long time. But apparently, because of Disney, it's now on Hulu.
Cool.
So go. I want to find time to watch Ally McBeal, and I'm pretty sure I'll still love it. AJ Wizzle, we're gonna skip that joke because it looked like she was mad at me earlier. Lenny Laserdisc for $1.99. Tony, review Wild at Heart, please. I would love to talk about Wild at Heart. You gifted me a Wild at Heart. Glad you made that,
did.
right?
Yeah.
I love Wild at Heart.
That was the first time that you and I ever met in person. I brought you a present.
Thank you.
I'm a nice lady.
I didn't know that that's a thing you're supposed to do, and it made me feel very insecure. And I was like, I need to get the activator and make a better self that will bring gifts.
That will know to bring presents. No, it's not an obligation to bring presents. I just wanted to, we had been talking about Wild at Heart for some reason, and I wanted to surprise you with a fun little gift.
Maybe for Wicket 2. Oh, did you know Wicket is a part 1?
No.
I was going to suffer and put it on the wrap up. When I heard months ago it was a part 1, I went, absolutely fucking not. You're not getting me in a theater twice for that. But when the second one comes out, maybe we could do Best Wizard of Oz, but we like talk about the original for 5 seconds and just talk about Wild at Heart. How about that, Cayley? You down for that?
I'm in. Yeah.
You down to bait everyone with a fucking Wizard of Oz review and just talk about Wild at Heart? I'm on board for that. All right, get your whatever last minute super chats in. Cayley, what is going on with you on Patreon, your main channel, WATP? Let us know right now.
Yes, I am. You can check out my YouTube channel, which is Once Over with Cayley, Cayley. And that is where I do movie reviews, very similar to Tony's style. I sometimes have guests, and I talk about a little bit of everything kind of in a similar way to what Tony does. So I like almost all movies. And right now I'm doing a couple of different series. I am doing a bunch of different SNL skits turned into movies. And I am also in the middle of doing something that Tony is also doing, which is reviewing all the Saw movies. I took a brief pause on that, but I'll be back.
Wind out of my sails there.
Yep. On the plus side, because I took a pause on those, all of my reviews are not out yet. So that still gives you a little bit of time to catch up with me.
I gotta catch up.
Yes. So that's been really exciting. In addition to that, you can find me on my Patreon. So on my Patreon, you get early release content of all of my movie reviews. Plus, you get to see reviews of anything that I get in the mailbox, which can sometimes be some pretty saucy stuff, as well as some very unsexy popsicle reviews.
But I'm sure you have
featured Tony.
I was gonna say, I'm sure they have a very sexy co-host in those videos, right?
Yes, Tony has been my only guest popsicle review human.
Did you get any negative feedback on those?
No, I just didn't get any feedback on them. Nobody thought that they were funny. I think I'm hilarious. Nobody.
Can I post them on my Patreon? I can see what my audience
you can.
thinks.
I'll send you those.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, I am also a guest host sometimes on Who Are These Podcasts, which can be found wherever you listen to your podcasts on any of the streaming platforms like Spotify. And over there, I just started doing a new series of segments. We are doing YouTube disasters over there. So we have already talked about Glitter Forever 17. We talked about Lily Jean. And I will tell you.
Is that the one who didn't know her husband was gay?
Yeah, Lily Jean.
That
did not know.
Made me laugh when he was saying, Daddy. And I'm like, how did she not know? Holy, I don't want to stereotype.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That's Glitter Forever 17.
Glitter Forever.
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't want to stereotype, but it was pretty obvious.
Oh yeah, and again, she was doing like reviews with his makeup bag, and it's comical. It's comical. There's a lot of debate about. I didn't get into this, but there's a lot of debate about he used her for a green card, and she used him because she's an idiot.
Isn't that what happened? You know the movie How Stella Got Her Groove Back? I think in real life that guy was gay and was using her for a green card.
But I'm also going to be talking about the next segment that we're going to be doing is going to be all about That Vegan Teacher. So we're kind of diving.
I know about
You
her.
know that.
My cousin Mariella and her kids love watching her and making fun of her.
It's a train wreck.
Oh my god, you gotta find the tweet when she was like talking about people dancing. It was like they have dead corpses in their bellies. I'm like, what the fuck? This lady is insane. I am so excited for that.
Yes.
Uh,
So lots of
I
fun.
can find.
We'll be continuing to do those segments, and then I also do guest hosting over there. Again, that podcast is great. We review other podcasts, so it's a lot of fun.
I might know some YouTube disasters I can recommend you.
I would love that. I am compiling lists right now, so I would like to see all of the absolute worst. It doesn't necessarily have to be from YouTube. I love it when they kind of fit into the category of our same favorite lol cows, like Stuttering John and Aaron M. Holt. And if I can kind of relate it back to that, I think it's a little bit more fun because
Okay,
we
well,
love looking at these people.
Dragon Lord Frodo is not going to be good for that then. If that guy's even he gets kicked off YouTube all the time. Anyway, but that sounds great. I've been enjoying those segments.
Good,
They've
thank
been
you.
really great. And yeah, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
to
you so much
talk
for having me.
about the substance. I had a great time. Also, I went through my list of what I reviewed this year. The Fall Guy, that was a fun comedy. The one with Ryan Gosling. Did you end
Oh
up
yeah,
seeing
I
that?
haven't seen that yet. No, I'm looking forward to it though. It looks good.
Although with comedies these days, they have to be kind of blended with another genre, so it was also a little bit of action. I want you to watch the movie. There is a running gag in that film that had me fucking dying, and it was like the
Okay.
funniest thing I've seen all year.
Okay.
But yes, this was great. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.